Welcome to the Mounting Block. I'm Oriel.
And I'm Marissa.
We're here to inspire each other and, of course, you, our listeners, as we navigate the wild ride of rediscovering our love for horses while juggling work, kids, businesses, and a million other things.
From tackling fears to finding time in between school drop-offs, spilt snacks, business meetings, and marriage, we're here to share the laughs, the lessons, and the occasional mishap in the saddle.
So grab a coffee, a wine, maybe even a lead rope if you're game, and join us for honest, uninterrupted conversations, a bit of mum life mayhem, and a whole lot of encouragement.
This is a Mounting Block. Let's get a leg over and join us for the ride.
Okay, hello.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Today was a day.
Oh my God, it is a roller coaster.
Such a roller coaster.
Wow.
I don't know, when people are listening to us now, they're like, stop whinging
Yeah.
about your horses.
Or what went wrong today?
Yeah, what could go wrong again? I mean, nothing went wrong per se.
Well, yes, it did.
Yeah, it did. It actually did. Well, we decided to do some groundwork and maybe a little bit of riding.
We normally record on a Thursday, but it's a different day. So.
Yeah, so we thought we'd just do that, slightly different, mix things up a little bit.
Yeah.
And we decided to go down to our local pony club and just have a little jaunt around because it's very relaxing down there. It's very peaceful. It's very lovely.
It is very peaceful.
Yeah, and it's calm and so I've been doing a bit of groundwork for the last few weeks with Hickatee because she's been a bit sore and got the all okay to get on her back today.
And the fabulous Will came down.
And Will came down.
As on the move.
Yeah, always
Spoken
teaching us lots of good things. Definitely, so useful to do groundwork with them. I've definitely, as I said last week, underutilised it and undervalued what it does. But it does help you understand sort of the horses, the way they move and all of that. So that was all good for me. I started off doing groundwork, getting her moving. And then I decided probably after about 45 minutes to jump on her back. And I was just planning on doing a little bit of walking and a little bit of trotting, just in straight lines because she's just coming out of coming back into work. And
after the mouth injury, for those of you who...
Yeah, my poor darling, after the mouth injury. But sadly, she was not feeling good in her legs in the trot.
She looked a little like she had a little limp happening.
Yeah, so I had to stop riding her because, horse welfare is number one. And, I'm feeling a bit sad and get her checked out. Yeah,
because it's like we've had this time off. You've had this time off riding her while her mouth injury healed and you couldn't put a bit in. Stitches came out, a week or 10 days ago, but you still couldn't put a bit in.
Yeah.
And now you're back in.
And I was back in and, she's sore. So that sucks.
It does suck. So we can get her checked out.
Get her checked out.
What's going on there.
Yes. So that is a bit... And then it was also just started like absolutely hammering down with rain.
Yeah, it did.
In a minute.
Yeah.
Of that. Yep. So that was fun.
Yeah, that was
lots of fun. I feel still a bit damp.
I am also still wet.
Yeah.
But, for those of you who watch us or listen to us regularly, you'll know we always turn up in our horsey clothes and I'm always covered by white fur.
Yeah.
And we're just generally hot and sweaty.
Grass drool somewhere around us and, all the things.
All the things.
Just smelling like a horse.
Yeah.
Which I like the smell of. Probably not a human as much.
Horses too. I love it.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's like a newborn baby smell. But you had an incident as well.
Oh my God. Yeah. So very happy about going down to the pony club, just take things easy for a little bit, and just have a lovely little ride on Laney. I was not planning on doing anything too challenging, but I really wanted to spend some time as well with you and Will doing some groundwork, which we did do.
Yeah.
And we did some leg yielding and we did a few different things. So that was all really, really good. It was hard. Like Laney doesn't do it as well as Hickatee's so good at all that stuff.
Yeah.
Laney doesn't do it.
Well trained. I can't take any credit for that, by the way. I just have to keep it going.
She does. Well, you can take credit for it because you're doing it with her. And if you weren't doing it right, she wouldn't be doing it right.
Oh, yeah. And she tells me.
Yeah.
She just won't do it until I press the right button. And then she does it.
Yeah. But Laney was a lot harder to get him to do it, but we were making progress.
Yeah.
And then last week, of course, did the lunging over the jump.
Yeah.
And Will was like, okay, we had another rider come in to do a bit of riding with us. And so because she'd started a little bit later, he wanted to do some stuff with her. So he went, I'll just quickly take you over to this jump and show you how to do it, because I, of course, had never done this before.
Yeah.
I've never, ever in my life lunged a horse over a jump.
Yeah.
And he showed me how to do it a couple of times, and then I took the lead rope, and I didn't know really how to do it. Like I should have just not, or taken my time a bit more.
Yeah.
But we had to get him straight into a trot so that he could go over this jump. And he was cutting the corner and trying not to jump the jump. He was trying to cut in between me and the jump. And there wasn't a long lead rope, so there wasn't a lot of space.
Yeah.
So he went around again. I was trying to push him over the jump, but he kept on trying to cut off the jump, the end of the jump.
Yeah.
And there happened to be a
star picket.
A star picket, yeah. And the plastic cap on the top had obviously cracked at some point. And because he was so close to the edge, he nipped his leg as he went over the jump. So, of course, then there was a lot of blood coming out of his leg.
Yeah, which looks super dramatic on a white horse.
A white horse,
yeah. It looks really dramatic. It was like,
bright red.
Yeah.
But we sent some photos to the vet, and the vet's going to come out and probably put a little stitch in him. But he's all right. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah.
It was just, I just felt a bit guilty because that was my fault. Like I didn't have him in the right space.
Yeah. We always blame ourselves as riders.
Yeah.
It's always us.
Yeah.
And like it kind of is. But equally he is crowding you.
Yeah.
So he was being a peanut with that and not listening to you as well as what he should be, because he does come up in your space a lot, which is and what you've got to work on with him, what you want to work on with him. So so that was our day today, and
we're going to do more groundwork
next week. We're going to do more next week, and that's that. But our lovely guest, Carol Mackey-Batts.
Oh, fabulous. Carol, welcome. We are so excited to have you with us today. I can't, in fact, tell you how excited we are to have you solve all of our screen time problems.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'll do my best to answer those curly questions that I'm sure you have.
So we should introduce you properly because you're part of Triple P. What is your exact title, Carol?
I'm the country director for Australia for Triple P International. So we oversee all of our work across Australia, government contracts, and our direct-to-parent support programs and so on.
Yeah. Okay. So you've also had a lot of experience when it comes to kids and screen time.
That's right. So I am one of the co-authors of our latest program, Triple P Online Children and Screens, and we do have a range of tip sheets as well to support this topic.
Yeah, so it's a new program that's just launched, isn't it? It was, a month ago? Or
just at Christmas time, last year. But got a little bit lost, I guess, with the social media age restrictions all coming in place there. But the aim of the resource is to support parents now as they navigate a bit of that transition, and also particularly for parents with younger children who now, I guess, have the government to call back on and say, well, you're not allowed to have social media now until 16. And here's some strategies and ideas to help create, I guess, healthy digital habits early in life. So when they do become teens, they are responsible, they're digitally literate, and so they're more likely to stay safe online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Well, the one that I would like to start with is I think understanding screen time's really wide. So maybe what we, define is what is screen time, and how does it differ between devices to begin with?
Yeah, is TV screen time? Is that like just watching TV? Is that the same? Yeah.
And it is, a screen's a screen. So we are talking about TVs, laptops, handheld devices, gaming devices, and so on as being part of screen time. And screens in of themselves are neither good nor bad. It's really about how we're using them and for how long we're using them for. And that's where it gets tricky for parents, because there's no hard and fast rules about what's the right amount of screen time, because it depends on the age of our children and what they're using those screens for, and also their developmental abilities and stages.
So my questions were on all of those.
Yeah.
Is there a right amount of screen time? Is there, different with developmental, like neurodiversity? We talk about that, of course, a lot on this podcast. And for those who haven't heard us before, both Marissa and myself have neurodiversity in our family. Do you parent screen time differently for neurodiverse kids? Like I said, I've just got
You've got a lot of questions in that
long
one
list
question.
of questions. So let's start with the first one. You were just saying that it's hard to build clear guidelines. For those that are listening that have kids and are trying to parent screen time, is there a right and a wrong answer? Like, should there be a set amount of time per day? And does that include TV versus gaming? And should you not allow gaming one day and TV the next? That sort of thing. Like, is there any guidelines around
You
that?
want rules. You're a rule follower, don't you? You want you want
I
that 1 hour on the iPad and
okay.
Yep,
that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, that's what she wants.
Well, it's up to every family really to set those rules and to decide how much is an appropriate amount for their family situation each day and how much time in one sitting. So it might be that you do have a 2-hour allotment over the day, but a maximum 40 minutes at a time, because we don't want them getting too addicted, I guess, to that screen and reliant on it. And we want them to be able to switch off from it when the time comes to be switching off. I guess the key thing that we ask parents to think about is, what is your child missing out on when they're on screens? And what are the things that children need to do each day and have access to so that they grow well and healthy? So we all need sleep. We all need, we need like 10 hours sleep, or 8 to 10 for our children. So are we getting enough sleep? We fit in our meal times, we fit in school or early learning services and so on. We have to fit in our homework if we're school age, and often that is a device-based activity. We need physical activity, so if we've got time out, whether it's indoor or outdoor play, but we do need to fit in that physical activity as well. And then we need to look at what the devices are being used for. And for many children, there's lots of fun to be had playing the games. There's social connection to be had. There is learning and development, whether it's hand-eye coordination or sequencing and planning, executive functioning. So those sorts of skills are all important for our children's development. So there's no easy answer, because it depends what extracurricular activities you have each day and so on. But families can, I guess, map out a bit of a diary. Where are the free times for our children to be just having fun with devices?
Yeah, and it's an interesting point, because I've got slightly older children than Oriel's. Mine are 10 and 12. And from a regulation point of view, they're very regulated. Like if I say, jump off the TV, it's time to do X, Y, Z, there's no problems with that. But because we don't have any screen time during the week, not even TV, I'm like a really mean mum. But it does mean that on the weekends there is more of that. There's a little bit more binge screening, particularly when it's, we've done all the activities and everybody's just sort of at home bumbling around and just like everyone needs their downtime, but sometimes that can be like 3 or 4 hours in a batch. I reconcile it okay, because they're busy all week, they're moving around, they're doing that. But then every so often I go, ooh, is this gross? But actually what you said earlier about ticking off those sort of needs is actually justifies it to a degree. Like I could go, okay, well, have they done their chores? Have they, packed their bags? Have they eaten well? Have they, done some activity? Okay, yeah, they've ticked off those things. I'm okay with this for a period of time, and they're not unregulated when they get off them. So maybe that's okay. But it is, it's sort of that guilt that we float between, like everyone's having downtime, but is this okay, downtime? Are we allowed? And I'm not very good at downtime. So that also impacts, like I'm like, oh, we should be doing things. Yeah. And my husband's the one that goes, no, everyone goes at a pace all week. It's actually okay. So chill. It's an interesting sort of take.
And that does sound like a really good pattern for your family. And I guess the key thing there is that you've got routine and structure, so your children are aware that we're not having Monday to Friday. And then when you said that they're well regulated, I mean, that's the key thing as well, that when it's time to switch off a game or give somebody else a turn or to do another activity, how do our children react to that? And that's often an indicator of whether we need to get more structure and routine into our use of devices and more opportunities to practice short turns, so that we practice switching off. And then you can come back in 30 minutes time, provided we were able to regulate our emotions and switch off when we were asked. and then we can have another chance.
Oh, that's a really great thing, isn't it?
Well, we've always gone down really hard on, as soon as we say switch off the TV or switch off the Nintendo, it goes off immediately. And if it doesn't, then you lose your TV or Nintendo time the following day.
Yeah.
So as a result, both of the boys, if we say hop off your device, whatever it might be, they hop off really well.
Because they're scared of the consequences.
That's what scared of me. I'm very scared.
No, they respect you. They respect you.
Well, that's good. Again, they've learned that you mean what you say. You're acting calmly. You might give them, when you're first learning these new habits, it might be that we give them a 5-minute warning. We might use timers and other external devices to ring and signal that it's nearly time to finish. We give them that 5 minutes or 2 minutes to wrap up their game. But when we say time's up, it's time up.
Yeah.
And then they know, though, that if they follow that routine and that rule that you have in your family, that at the next scheduled screen time, that they will be able to have their device back or have less time on their device because that was a consequence of not switching off straight away last time.
Yeah.
It's such a thing to navigate, isn't it? So we're doing it well, obviously. Go us.
Yeah.
But what about when
you are?
There's not many wins we have with parenting, so I'll just take one little one.
Take it while we go.
But what about when it goes bad? What about when, you do have a child that is really, really addicted and you're having battles every day and, you can't stop them.
Yeah.
What does that look like for families?
Yeah. And that's a real struggle for families when the problems are already entrenched to a degree that, and children are what we call escalating. They're not able to regulate their emotions. So when we say no or switch off, it leads to fighting, arguing, debating the point. One more go. With those situations, it's probably time to call a family meeting and look at what's happening and why it's a problem. And really engaging our children in why do they think the problem's happening and what can we do to put in a better routine or a better plan. And if we get their buy-in with it and encourage them to help set the rules within the boundaries that you're setting as parents, they're more likely to cooperate and fit within those limits. But again, it's using the strategies that you've said. Your children know that when you've said it's time to go off, if they don't switch off, that they're going to miss out on screen time at their next allocated turn. So it's being consistent and following through with those. And sometimes parents need to be a little bit clever with knowing how to switch off Wi-Fi. So when you say that's the end of the turn,
it's the end.
You can make it end.
Yeah. What about with that sort of thing when you when your children go and hang out with other children that have different rules, and this is something I actually struggle with because I'm so strict on screen time, that I feel like I'm probably more strict than most people that I know, possibly with the exception of you, going through the week, but yeah, and most people are much more relaxed, but because my son is ADHD, I'm more aware of the potential to get, sucked into it. Like I said, he regulates really well. If I say switch off, he will switch off immediately. But how do you deal with them hanging around with kids that have different rules? Like,
It is a challenge. I guess when families come to your house, then they're following your rules, so it's easier to put into place. And then it's talking to the other parents if your child's having play dates or visits with other family members about your preferences. And they may talk to you about them and agree to the sorts of limitations that you're using, or they may say that that's not going to work for their family, and then I guess that makes that decision for you about how long your child can visit at other homes and so on. But the key thing is to make sure that when your child's at your home, you know that these are our rules, and while other families do things differently, this is what works for us, and this is why we have the rules that we do.
But you think it's fair enough to talk to the other parent and just say, like, this is,
Absolutely. And I think you'll be surprised to find that there's lots of parents who share your views, and they might actually be, wow, you've managed to get that routine in place. Can you help me do that at my place as well? Because, most parents do want to limit the amount of screen time, but have struggles in terms of what's the best way to do that. So you might be able to share some of your tips.
Are there any screens or devices or, I don't know, particular games or whatever that are just an absolute, like, do not touch them, don't. They're really, really bad for kids.
The key thing to be aware of is what your children are playing and accessing online. So you really do need to be talking to them regularly and finding out what they're using, and even playing the games with them. Or before you let them play, you have a turn, after hours sort of thing, check out what you think of the game. But the key thing to look out for is any game like Roblox that has the ability for a social chat function.
Yeah.
So you can talk to others and it has the ability to connect with unknown friends, then they're real risk factors to be looking out for. And so we'd be encouraging parents to make use of the privacy settings and talk to their children about the privacy settings so that they're not opening themselves up to everybody on that particular program or app. And there are parental controls. And so it's important that parents are aware of those parental controls and can implement them and put them into place on the devices that their children are accessing.
Specifically with Roblox, I've just said to my boys no.
Same. But
again, I feel like I'm the only parent.
Well, you're not, because I also don't allow my kids to play it either. But it's coming under a lot of heat at the moment.
Yeah.
People are becoming more aware of it. So hopefully that filters through more.
Should it be is there a yes for Roblox? I mean,
if we put in if we're using the parental controls and we're using the privacy settings, and then you're checking in and even watching what they're playing and texting or messaging, then that's how children learn how to behave in risky situations. So to me, Roblox is a risk, but there's lots of risky things that happen from that young people, so particularly going through the adolescence, need to learn to navigate and cope with. And we can't stop the risks completely, but we can minimise the chance that harm will happen. And how do we do it in a safe way? So if you can do it where you're supervising the activity, you're talking about what might happen, what's some of the risks that can happen when they're on apps like that they are talking to people that they don't know, and they might be encouraged to send messages or pictures that are unsafe for them to do, and what they should do if they feel uncomfortable or if they are being asked to send images or so on.
That they won't be in trouble.
Yes, and that's the key thing, that they need to know that they can come to you and they won't be roused on to a degree. They're not going to be in trouble. It's more, I'm so glad you came to talk to me about that, because that's a real risk. We don't really know who this call sign is and where they are, and are they really another 12-year-old boy talking to you, or are they somebody else?
Well, the fear with kids, and I've been told this with adolescents, like teenagers, the fear apparently seems to be that their device will get taken off them. Their phone will get taken off them if they come forward with, a problem or something. Yeah. Like that's the whole reason why they would potentially hide it.
I'm going to lie, because otherwise I'll lose it.
I'll lose it. So my daughter, my eldest, has just received a phone. It's the most stripped down phone ever. YouTubed how to do this. Like I spoke about another episode, assistive access.
Yeah.
Which was originally made for elderly people, but it's completely stripped back. Yeah. And but I said to her, the chance of something happening on that phone, but she's in some text chains, which is a whole new world, and she allows me to go in them, and I, see things that, I feel disappointed by, but that's okay. She's got that language is used at school as well, so I can't protect her from that, but not her. It is, I think, part of being exposed to that stuff, but what I have said to her is, if something did happen, I need to promise you that you won't get your phone taken off you, that won't be the consequence. You will be, rewarded for being honest and open with me. So that's worked really well, because someone had made me aware of that. A friend had told me with an older teenager that is their fear. And I was like, right, let's try and, crack this egg before it becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? That's their currency.
It certainly does make sense. And I guess that's what children or young people fear the most, is being disconnected from their peer group. Mm-hmm. And that's what some of the challenges were with the changes in the social media age restrictions. It's how will I connect? And maybe it's a bit old school, teenagers actually getting their phone numbers of their friends. But there's still lots of messaging apps that are available. And I guess the key thing is that it reduces the chance of cyberbullying. It reduces the chance of things going viral. and it reduces the chance of being groomed by unknown people. So that's all positive. But what you're saying for your daughter is really important. It is about having that trusting, open relationship that they feel comfortable sharing anything with you, knowing that you're going to stay calm. Number one, you're going to regulate your emotion and reaction, because no matter what happens, and there can be some pretty scary things can happen online. And it can seem a little bit overwhelming when it first happens, but there are resources and supports available through things like the e-safety commissioner, through most schools will have teams who are available to assist in getting inappropriate content removed from online and so on. But the most important thing is that we need our kids to tell us about it first.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I do have, I know of and have friends that have got sort of later teens, some mid-teens, I suppose, 13, 14, even 15, that they lost control a bit of the screen time in the younger years. Is it too late to get that back?
Yeah, it's never too late, but it's challenging, and it's more negotiation and contracting in a sense with your child, coming up with an agreement about what is going to be fair and reasonable use now. So it is the family meetings or the one-on-one with your teens about why you're concerned for them and what are the risks and how do we protect our children from them. But I have heard many parents say that one of the biggest mistakes they made was letting children have their devices in their bedrooms overnight.
Yeah.
And if they could go back and never had that started, then they think that those teenage years might have been a little bit easier. Because it's just the norm.
That could have been such a slippery slope, right? Like I used to play like a sleep meditation on an iPad when the kids were going off to sleep, you know, and like it was in their room. I mean, they didn't play it, but you know, that could be such an easy sleep that would occur with it sitting. Staying in the bedroom. Yeah. And then they're just waking up in the morning and there's an iPad at their disposal. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So there's hope. So for those who have been struggling for some time, there is hope. And again, it's about communication.
It really is. But the other thing with the older children, it's also about, well, it's for all children, but particularly if you've got a problem that you're trying to address, is about looking at your own screen use as well, because many parents themselves are quite addicted to their device. It's at their hip or in their hand, in their pocket. We have it with us 24/7. Are we checking it regularly, or can we go for periods of time without checking our emails or texts and so on? Are there times at home when there are no devices? So a good time is meal times, because it's a time when we're all coming together, have some social chit-chat about the day and what's happening in everyone's lives. So can we make that a screen-free place and time? Can we keep those devices? I know a lot of parents say they try not to use their devices between when they come home and when the kids go to bed, so that they're there and available for their children.
Do you know what's so hard with that, though? Because I actually was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and her son, who also is the same age as my oldest, just got a phone too. And she said to him, I really need you to not be on your phone, you know, doing X, Y, Z. And he said, but you're always on your phone. And she said, but everything I have to do for my kids is on my phone. So she said, so right now, the moment he said that, she said, I was signing his like soccer sign up thing on this form. And she said, but this isn't, I'm not doing it with fun. Like, and you know, you order tuck shop through the phone, every school notification through the phone, you're the PA on your phone. Yeah. So that's, it's really difficult. And sometimes that has to happen after hours, right? Like it has to happen at night, because I don't want to be doing it, you know, until 11 o'clock at night. And at work. So I feel for parents in that, because yes, definitely doom scrolling is a different category. But how much we actually, like a notification. The other day my daughter was coming back from camp. I missed a notification by 15 minutes before messages were coming at me. They're delayed by 45 because I wasn't stuck to my phone telling me, you know, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's a catch-22, isn't it, really?
Catch-22.
But it does really show the model that we present, and are there times when we can put our devices down, and are we only using it when we really need to, when children are around? Are we modelling that when we've got visitors or social interactions happening, that we're not looking at our phone constantly during the conversation? So how do we show that we're giving our attention to the conversation that's currently being had?
I even had that the other day with my daughter. My phone was like near me and we were having a conversation with my little one, and she said, "Your messages have been going off." And I said, "Well, that's okay. That's okay. I'm talking to you. They're not important. They can wait." So because I just have to, because she's just received an Apple Watch. So I'm trying to teach them, like, just because something pings doesn't mean we need to be running, which is an addiction. It's a part of our brain that goes, "Oh no, now that's on something. Somebody needs something."
Yeah.
So that's me regulating myself, trying to in that moment.
Yeah.
But also I don't want her to believe that she's less important than a ding on a phone. But
absolutely.
It's constant. It's just constant, that sort of focus, isn't it?
It is constant, but isn't that a great role model that you can show that I don't need to look at that message, although I've heard the notification. You're more important at this time. We're having this conversation, so there's times and places when we do look at our devices. And if you can, I guess, narrate that out loud, so you're teaching your child what your thought processes are and why you're acting the way that you are, then that's a really great model for your child to learn that when their phone dings and they're in the middle of something they're really enjoying, they don't have to stop then and there.
Yeah. Carol, you started off by talking about the fact that all screens are the same, so TV versus gaming, Nintendo, whatever it is.
Well, they're all classified as screens. Yeah.
Is there, though, a difference between using gaming, like playing Minecraft, for example, versus actually watching TV? I mean, is there a difference in terms of how long you should allow it to happen in one sitting? Is it a different? Is there a difference in the way their brain's working over those sort of two different things?
Yeah, there certainly is. And I guess what we want to avoid is too much of the passive screen time watching, which is what you mentioned before, like the doom scrolling, or you're just sitting there and passively taking in the information. So binge watching show after show on TV. So that's when more problems can arise, because we're not getting any physical activity. That's when we hear terms like brain rot come from, because we're not actively engaged with it. And for young children in particular, what's most important is their language development, and the way they develop their language is having one-on-one conversations directed at them. So the more words they hear, the more opportunities they get to speak, then the better their language and their vocabulary is, and that's their academic performance down the track. And that's that early wiring of our brains. And the other part of it is they need to see your facial expressions, so they learn what happiness looks like, sadness, surprise, disappointment, and so on. And that helps them learn how to regulate their emotions as well, by having those models. So again, it all comes back to what are they missing out on? And if we're just vegging out on the couch, let's say, a bit of brain rot, every now and again, that's okay, because we just need to switch off and just chill and relax. But if that becomes our daily routine, it's likely we'll have poor eating habits, sleeping habits, and lack of physical activity.
So we do allow TV during the week, but we allow TV after dinner when everything's done. So, after any extracurriculars, after we've eaten, after we've showered and pajamas are on, that's when we allow TV. And that's a bit of a routine, but that's maybe an hour in the evening. Is there anything negative about that?
Not really. I guess the rule of thumb would be 2 hours or more of just passively watching screens is associated with some mental health concerns and lack of sleep and anxieties and sadness, depression, when that happens. But often if it's more of a routine, or even like a Friday night movie night and the whole family's together watching the show, you've got your popcorn or blankets and things, and everyone's sharing in, and there's laughter and conversation involved in watching the show, then that's all a positive family memory that you're creating as well. Yeah. So there's no one hard and fast rule. It is about that balance and moderation.
Yeah, I think you're fine. I think you're fine. I think the question on that before bed is a thing, though, isn't it? Because there's this whole thing about blue lights before bed. I don't totally understand what the parameter is there. Yeah, but there's something.
It's about an hour before bed, they're saying, and that the blue light stimulates melatonin or makes it harder for you to then switch off and go to sleep. So there is a broad rule, but I saw some research recently that said that that's not as strong a relationship as originally thought.
Interesting.
So
we've been lied to.
Yeah, the jury might be out a bit on that one.
Okay.
But just as a rule of thumb, trying to wind down without screens about an hour or 30 minutes at least before bed. But by the time you start your bedtime routine, it probably takes half an hour to get the pajamas and the teeth and all the things that you need to do, and maybe read a book. So that's how we would, I guess, get around that one.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
so
You've given us so much to think about.
Any tips, any overarching, things that you'd like parents to know, either A, about the program, or B, just screen time in general, that might be helpful?
Well, we do know that if we can get the routines established early, so in these primary school and years in particular, then it can make that transition to high school a lot easier in terms of using screens. Screens are a part of our everyday life now. We're living in a digital world, so we do need to learn how to use them effectively and well, and not ban them per se. But if our children have access to the internet, parental controls and privacy settings, parents, you need to look into them and find out about them. They're generally quite easy to follow on the apps themselves, but places like the eSafety Commissioner can assist. And then the other key thing is open and honest, regular conversations with your kids. What apps are you playing? Who are you talking with? What's the chat like? And encourage them and praising them for good choices, so that over time when they're teens, and you don't get to see their chat when they're teens, that's the whole point of being an independent young person. You want to be confident and trust that they are participating well in those chats and making good decisions.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can only control what you can control within your own family, and outside influence will occur. But hopefully if you've got the right values and things in place, and we're okay. Gosh, it's so scary. It's so scary.
It is scary. But to help parents there, we do have Triple P Online Children and Screens, and it's only about a 60-minute to 90-minute program that families can work through to get that understanding of what is appropriate screen use and times, and how to set up some routines at home and encourage the behaviours that you want to see, and to have those conversations about the risks. So how do you talk about some of the problems that can happen, like access to inappropriate images, grooming, cyberbullying, and how do you want your child to respond if they do feel uncomfortable online, and you letting them know how you're going to respond if they come to you. So I'm not going to be mad, you're not going to be in trouble. It's really important that we work together to solve these problems, and I'm always going to be there to help you with those problems.
And is that
then
program
we can work
free?
out how to do it. Yes, the Triple P Online is free, so they can just get onto our website, so triplep and there's a whole range of programs there, including Children and Screens.
Children and Screens. That's great. Free program. I'm definitely going to go do that.
Fabulous. We'll put that online as well.
Yeah, we will.
Easy to find.
That'd be great. So that's thanks to funding from the Australian government. So we're very fortunate to have that resource available, and it's available freely across Australia.
It's great they're supporting parents with these changes and acknowledging what we're all facing and what the future is. It's not going away.
No, it's not. It's getting worse.
Away.
But thank you so much, Carol. You've actually made me feel a lot better about my choices.
Oriel. You're doing great. I feel like you should feel good about your choices.
Yeah.
And they're very well balanced kids, so I think you're fine. I think you're doing well. Yeah. No, very good.
Thank you so much for having me. And from what you've both shared, ladies, I think you're both doing an awesome job with setting up your routines and encouraging healthy digital habits. So congratulations to you. And
thank you. Thank you.
You don't always get a pat on the back.
You don't. That's true.
We'll take them.
Yeah.
We'll take them.
Our kids may not give us the pats on the back, but we'll take Carol's.
No.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, you have a wonderful day, Carol.
Thanks so much for joining us, Carol. And thanks for everyone else.
Marissa.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you.
Oriel. Thank you.
Viewers or listeners. See you next week.
See you. Bye.